As we've seen, San Diego County has become the new import zone for the invasion because Abbott shut down Texas. Are you seeing now, because they've opened the floodgates here in San Diego, an increase in problems up in Riverside County, even though you were getting a handle on the crime before this invasion started a few years ago?
Yeah, this problem, this crisis is continuing to grow. It's gotten worse over the last 3 years. I mean, it was already starting. I mean, fentanyl's been a problem longer than 3 years, but the last 3 years has just been terrible. It's flooding in. We're seeing the seizures go up. We're seeing the amount of fentanyl increasing on our streets, and then correspondingly, we're seeing the number of deaths increase. So it's only getting worse. We have to get a handle on the southern border. Once we do, hopefully someday we'll get a handle on the southern border and enforce the law. Once we do, we got to deal with all the fentanyl that's already here, the drug trafficking organization. So the problem won't stop when we get a handle on the southern border, but we got to stop the bleeding first.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what you've done, because during your testimony you talked about how actually prosecuting these criminals for the things they're doing, because the feds are letting them walk in so they don't get prosecuted for their first crime, which is entering our country illegally. But then they are trafficking people, they're trafficking drugs, weapons, they're committing crimes. You've been hard on that. You testified and said you've seen a notice in people when you've listened to wiretaps in the bad guys knowing that, and so they go to sanctuary cities where the DAs aren't like Mike Hestrin. That's absurd to me, that they actually know this and are going, no, wait a minute, in this county, they'll prosecute us, so we got to go elsewhere where we won't get prosecuted. This is stuff you're actually hearing on taps.
Absolutely. On taps and in through jail phone calls. It's common knowledge. Look, the criminals know the law better than law-abiding citizens, right? If you're going to break the law, they figure out what laws and where they can go. And we have the reputation among the criminals, don't go to Riverside County if you're going to deal drugs, and so they try to avoid it. And so, obviously that's good in a way, but it's bad in the sense that, it shouldn't be that easy just to avoid our county line, to say, well, if we just cross the line here, we can do this with impunity, but that's what's happening.